Hey everyone, welcome to Pop XP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the Pop XP channel. What's going on, YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here now, Sky with Pop XP, and tonight, man, we're having a party, we're having a blast, we may be launching something, I don't know, but I got a red button here. I got a red button right here, and joining us tonight, we've got the true man, the teen sensation. He's never going to grow old. He's always going to be in your face, Mr. Billy TUCCI'S.
What up, yo? Psyched about today's show, man.
Dude, it's going to be crazy.
We
got Paul Jenkins in the house tonight joining us.
Paul Jenkins?
You
Frank
realize
Amazing?
Being British, I'm not allowed to go stuff and do stuff like "What up, man?" because that just sounds wrong. So I go, hello, everybody. It's nice to see you.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Hey, Paul. Everyone makes fun of my my New York accent when I say, "What are you doing?" and I say, "I'm drawing." Right?
Yeah.
And but Americans say drawing.
Yeah.
Isn't the Queen's English when an Englishman draws, he's drawing?
He's drawing exactly the way that you say it. You're
Thank you. So I'm right.
Very British.
So the hell with you all. And I am half English, so
The devil with you all, I do believe you would say. The devil with you all.
Drawing?
drawing.
Drawer?
That's the way
Like a drawer, like you're opening a drawer?
Drawing.
Yeah.
You're drawing, Billy.
I'm drawing.
I don't know what's drawing, man.
I'm not drawing well, but I'm drawing.
So we got a great show tonight. Frank Amazing is with us.
What up,
so you
Frank?
know this is serious. This is serious business.
Serious crowdfunding.
He's at the helm of the command center, and it's just a crowdfunding night. Not only do we have an amazing creator back on the show, a man who's about to unleash, he's going to turn the lights off. The vampires are going to come out and roam the streets of New Jersey. But on top of that, our special guest host tonight is also hitting something else on Indiegogo, which we'll get into too tonight. But without further ado, gentlemen, please welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Alton SImpson. How you doing, man?
Me? I'm on. Oh,
You.
guys, I can't believe I'm on this show. I love being on here. I love what you guys do. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Well,
coming
dude,
on.
if you're ever free and you want to come on and guest host with us and stuff and join us for the shows, we'd love to have you on, man. You're a good guest. So
Anytime, Billy. Anytime.
Cool.
I love it on here.
That's
So,
Billy for you. That's
now,
Billy for you.
I just launch and get it out of the way, or
You gonna do it? You gonna hit the red button? Fire away.
get it out there.
What are you launching though? Let's give an
All right.
introduction of what we
Okay.
are headed into right now.
Last time was Vampires 6, which finished one character arc of 3 issues. I usually write, since I have done films, I write a script that we turn into 3 issues of comics. So this is Vampire 7. It's the beginning of another 3 issue arc. It's called All Roads Lead to Jersey. My lead character, Cassidy, who's been bitten and is almost turning into a vampire. He's vacillating, I guess, back and forth like Hamlet or something. I don't know. I'm trying to get epic and mythical. But he is being chased by the disciples of Vlad. I wanted to go epic. Just like Jesus had disciples, Vlad the Impaler had disciples. So every issue for the next couple of issues, they travel in duos and pairs. And there's 2 female vampire hit women that are after him in this issue. So, along with the usual ridiculousness between the mob, the Vatican, vampires, werewolves, and witches.
Nice.
nice.
I think it's time you hit that red button so we can start seeing some of this.
Before we hit the red button,
Yes. Mr. Jenkins, yes.
I'd just like to give it a little bit British intro. Gentlemen,
All right.
presenting Vampires of New Jersey. Vampires, werewolves, witches, the Vatican, and the mob. May I introduce special guest, Alton SImpson.
Oh, that was good.
That was
Good. Good. You're good.
Thanks, Paul.
You're good. You're good.
Actually, crazy enough, my kids talked me into getting my DNA, and a chunk of it was English, a chunk of it was French, and something else. Obviously, the rest. But very surprising to me.
What did you do 23andMe or did you do Ancestry? Which one did you do? Because I got to do that too.
I did Ancestry.
Yeah.
And, I did it because my son my wife is Czech. So my son wanted to find out my history and her history. She came to the Czech Republic to here, and I met her and married, and I had kids. So his DNA comes back, and he was like 52% European because a big chunk of me is Irish and English, and she's all Czech. So it was like crazy. It was like, wow, that's nutty. So then he was like, you got to find out yours, and I found that out.
I'll forgive you for the English.
So.
Be Welsh.
Now you got to find out where in England your family's from, like I did, and I got all excited, and I said, my family's from Wolverhampton, and Paul told me it's like the Cleveland of England. I'm like, wow, Wolverhampton. He's like, yeah, that's like saying you're from Cleveland.
Cleveland of England. I actually filmed a music documentary in Birmingham for a week in 2012 called For the Love of Music. So I have a lot of bands, independent band guys who work a day job, and then they play with the band at night over there. And I'll be going back in 2022 to do a 10-year, retrospective of it.
Nice.
Incredible.
Love it over there.
I found in my genealogy, which is disappointing, that my uncle Derek actually ran from the British Library.
Right.
He ran all the digitization of it. So he was in charge of turning all of these old files into digital files. And so we could do our genealogy in a minute.
Right.
My brother went and did it, and he found out that on my dad's side, we could trace our genealogy back to 1106 within about 10 minutes.
Wow.
But they were all like dead Welsh coal miners, right? They didn't move away from the village Monmouth-Dreslewin for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So it sounds impressive, but basically we're the most boring people alive. We just stayed in the village and never went in.
That's the thing about Ancestry, though, was they showed me how my family came from Nigeria, and how they ended up in my family. All of my mom and my dad are from North Carolina, so how they ended up there, and it's actually really interesting to find out where you're from and what your history is.
Yeah, cool, man. That's excellent.
How long did that take for you to get those results?
It was pretty quick. I mean, all you do is you spit in a cup and you send it to them, and probably about 2-3 weeks. Maybe.
Nice.
Oh, shoot. You're supposed to spit in the cup?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
My son wanted it for Christmas, actually. He wanted to find out, so. But,
and then though, I think you even get like updates, don't you? Like as more data is done, you'll get like new. I think you get emails and stuff saying actually your percentages change based on like the DNA tracking of different regions of where they you came from different parts of Europe and other places, and it's pretty relatives.
Neat. That's the other thing. Relatives go on and they link you with the other relatives, and I found out all these people I didn't even know I was related to. So
isn't Ancestry though like $20 a month or something though? Crazy like that?
I only paid once to get the one thing done.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Okay.
That's for that. Yeah. If you want to do
not wasting
genealogy, I think it's like one fee for the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
So I launched, so it's out there.
You're out there, man. Right. It's happening. Boom.
Cool.
There you go. Keep it running. Let's go, man.
All right.
I love the name of it.
Yeah.
The vampires versus the mob, like True Blood versus the Sopranos. You can't get any better than that.
Yeah. I actually wrote a script that, of course, as an independent guy, was too much for me to film. And I thought I'll block out the scenes, and I love comics. I bought my first comic in 1974 at a 7-Eleven in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And I was lucky enough to get a guy who drew Silver Surfer for Marvel, Mahathir Gawang, liked my pitch. He liked what you just said. He saw that online and said, yeah, that sounds cool. So he helped me do the first, spec out the first 3 issues. And my regular artist, Connor Cole, is an interior artist. He's actually an animator out in California for a company I can't name that has a mouse in it. So, but this launch and the last issues I've worked on, I've been able to work with some of the best artists. You guys know them because you have them on. Just want to run through the cattle call here. Wendy Steen Shaner, CB Zane, Steph Wilson and Carrie Ann, Karen Nicole and Alfred Trio, Jim E. Noble and Alfred Lee, Chris Madd, a UK artist, Simon Bennett, who was actually a portrait artist that saw vampires in New Jersey on Comixology and contacted me and said, I do portraits in London, but I really want to do comics. And he did about 4 or 5 comics for me.
Oh, wow.
April Grady Reyna, Lance Footer, Bob Heron, and Wendy connected me with Dave Harrigan, who has done some work with Lady Death.
Yeah.
So, and he actually was just talking to me just before I came on the show. He's one busy guy.
Oh, wow. That's a heck of a lineup you got there.
Yeah. So the best thing with me is that because this is the 7th issue, I have a lot for people to look at when they get in there. I mean, I have the variant issues, which, usually attracts people who might not have thought about looking at a vampire comic before. But I also am lucky enough to have like a catalog of issues. And last time, I think the biggest sales were, obviously some artists were more popular than others, but a big chunk of it was people getting like either all the PDFs at once or getting the graphic novel and some variant covers.
Oh, cool. Well, let's check out your Kickstarter video.
Thank you. By Wendy Tanner.
Beautiful artwork, man. That is great interiors.
Yeah. He Connor is like my secret weapon because nobody knows the guy. After I posted and I started with my hat there, he ran into a wall after he did a lot of work on it. So I had to switch horses midstream, and I got lucky enough to get Connor. And he's actually, like I said, an animator. So when you see some of those huge movies and you see all those names, in there, he's one of those names in there in the credits. But he constantly tries to push the envelope with every issue we've done. And I'm really trying to get a 10-issue run with one artist, because my thing when I was a kid was I always got into one set of artwork, and then, usually it would change, and that would change the tone. Up, Lance. That would change the tone of the whole comic to me. So I'm trying to keep that same feel all the way through for at least 10 issues. I mean, I'll do more if we can, but.
Is that your basic storyline? Is like 10 issues, you think?
3-issue arc. It's like a movie. You get your you get your intro, you get your meat in the middle, and then you get your crazy ending.
Yeah.
I usually try and surprise you in some way. Tarantino-ish, Scorsese-ish.
Hell yeah! Now I love that you have the you seem to have a lot of the Coffin crew with you. You got a lot of the Arizona. Being an East Coast guy, you get a lot of Arizona people, Arizonians. Yeah, I've been lucky. One of the big fans of the comic is Demon Phil, who does Comics and More in New Jersey, and he sat me down. I'm in 25 stores here in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania, so the book's been selling out for probably about 2 years. So he sat me down in just before C2E2, and he said, we really like your comic. We want your comic to get bigger. We think you should do a Kickstarter. And I was like, yeah, I did an Indiegogo and I tanked. It was horrible. He said, well, we're going to connect you with like these cool artists that like what you're doing. And then you do these covers and then it helps you reach a broader audience. And he was right. He introduced me to Kara, who I was telling earlier. I actually met Kara Nicole at C2E2. And there's nothing like meeting her in person. She's like a force of nature. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She is.
Yeah.
So it was just fantastic working with her. She did the first cosplay of a character I've ever had. And she did a bunch of photography, a lot of cool stuff. And then her and Alfred actually did a cover for issue 6. They were just like, dude, you mind if we do a cover? I'm like, do I mind? So I'm lucky like that. People kind of like, they get into a couple issues. Thank you, Canuck. And they, as artists, we're fans of each other's work.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like you guys. I mean, if I could, my house would be like full to the brim with everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
So, to work with people that are into what you're doing, I always found, even as a filmmaker, that especially as an independent filmmaker, because half the time you're working with almost no money and no anything.
Mm-hmm.
If people are into it, you get a different level of participation out of them, and then it's a back and forth. It's not so much like I'm the producer and they're working for me. It's like we're creating together, and that's fun for everybody.
Very cool, man. Man, you got so many great pledge levels here. And I just saw, so there's the physical. So anyone that's new to this series that you have, I mean, they can back the physical issues 1 through 7. So they can start from issue 1 all the way up to the book that you've got going out right now that just launched, 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Is there also a digital?
Yeah, PDFs also offer PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go either way. But I like for people, I know some people come in because they go, oh my God, I love Steph Wilson and Carrie Ann. I'm going to get that issue, or I'm going to get this issue. And that's good. But I try and I try and keep that's kind of funny, the sparkly kind, because I have a vampire comic. Now I wasn't a horror guy, although I was the guy at like Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, getting his girlfriend scared in 1984 or whatever. So all through the 80s, I saw a lot of that type of thing. But since I've started doing the vampire thing, I go into different groups of people who are, vampire-like or living the vampire lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And they're constantly like the Twilight group who likes their vampires sparkly, and then the group like me that loved like Lost Boys. And
I freaking love Lost Boys, man.
Yeah, and True Blood and that type of thing. And it's always like that. But with me personally, I used to hang out at some alternative music clubs back in the 90s. And I would meet people who would come up to me, and they would, I'd be sitting at the bar drinking, and they'd be like, by the way, I'm a vampire.
Yeah.
And I was always fascinated with those people. I'm a witch, I'm a whatever. And I would drink with them all night when they said that, because I would be like, is this a thing in their mind that they feel like they're vampires, or is it something they want to be, or tell me more about it. So that's kind of where I got the idea with the vampires in New Jersey, because I wanted to ground it in New Jersey and make it feel real, but at the same time have that edge of fantasy to it. So it's an interesting ride, starting with the first issue going through to 7, because you kind of, once you buy into it, it's kind of like, I think when Seinfeld said when they threw that mint, the episode where the mint fell into the guy while they were operating, he said, when we did that, we realized, hey, how's it going? We realized that we could do anything. Like that opened the door to, people going for a ride with us. So the first issue is kind of to hook you in. It's very grounded, but now at this issue, I'm trying to expand it and go epic. And I also have, all right, Charles, also have other comics that I do. Blackjack, a superhero whose powers change without his control. It's like Unbreakable meets X-Files. And I did a spinoff of Vampires, Werewolves of Brooklyn, about a werewolf crew in Brooklyn, that a biker crew that you can hire. So a lot of people could call that like Sons of Anarchy meets The Howling.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
So I'm expanding as I go and dabbling in different things. The issues I've written that I haven't put out yet, I do a take on zombies, because I have a friend who actually has done a lot of zombie books in New Jersey. And have fun with different genres as you go.
Oh, which is the vampire film or book that made you go like the one moment in a film or a book or something that made you go like, I'm like a vampire guy, or this is really intriguing? Because I'll tell you, for me, right, it was Salem's Lot when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, dude.
And they have the kid, and he's standing at the window, and he's tapping on the window, and he's just like doing it with his finger, and I'm like, damn, that's intense, right? So, that was mine. Have you got one?
Probably a lot stands out to me. I mean, I like the original Nosferatu, which is super creepy and in black and white and weird. Yeah. I love the Hammer films. because that's all I used to watch when I was a kid. But I also like the new twists and turns you can do with vampires, like I said, Lost Boys, and then True Blood, which took it different, But I think the reason people like my comic is because I know you guys know everything about vampires and the mob, or you think you know. Right? So I don't even use any of that stuff half the time. I mean, I know vampires are scared of crosses. I know you guys know that. So I kind of know you guys know that. And I play with what else we can do with it. Like, expand upon it. Yeah. So it's always like different. Like my werewolves.
Yeah.
The werewolf I have, his name's Ivan. His story starts in Werewolves of Brooklyn in actually World War II on the Russian front. But I wanted him to be able to turn any part of his body at any time. I wanted him to have control over his werewolfness. So if he wants to turn just this arm into a werewolf part, he can do that to freak you out. Or just his head and the rest stay the same or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I try and play with the genres to get something different out of it.
Do these monsters exist in the same universe? Like, do the Brooklyn werewolves deal with it?
It's a shared universe.
That's awesome.
And first of all, welcome, Fragaboom. Good to see you, pal.
What's happening? It's good to see you. Thank you now for the invite. Long time no see, Paul.
It's been a while.
How are you, Frank?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, doing well.
Talking about vampire films, I have to say, if it wasn't for Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
that's the other one.
I don't know if I would have really gotten into vampires. It was so real.
And that's the funny thing. Did you see the original Buffy movie with Luke Perry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see that and you think, well, it's all right. It's one of those movies you might see, you might not see. It was okay. And then you see what Whedon did with it, with the series, and it's just amazing.
Actually, I liked Angel.
Right, that's the other one.
That was pretty cool. Angel was pretty cool for his
chick. Who was the woman in that? Who was the girl?
The brunette chick?
Yeah. What?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh my God, Charisma Carpenter.
She still looks good too.
Oh,
you know what's a crying shame is that Whedon did a Wonder Woman script for Warner Brothers when he was working with her. And I always thought would be, this was in the 90s when she was kind of at her peak or whatever. I always thought that would be cool, to do that. Great. But of course, the scripts littered all over the place that they never did that were great, supposedly. We'll never know.
I always liked the vampire film Once Bitten with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I saw that.
When was that?
Oh my God, that was
actually
late 80s.
A semi-sequel to George Hamilton's version of it, where it's the guy vampire with the girl.
Yeah, it had to be like 87, 86, 87.
Yeah,
I think it's earlier than that.
Really?
I could look it up. I have the future in my hand.
Oh yeah, B.B. Herman was a vampire in Buffy, right?
Yeah.
Was he really?
1985.
85. You were right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I like that Buffy episode where it's silent, where everybody's moving around and floating. Those floating vampires.
Yeah.
Was it called The Dentist or something like that? I forget the name of it. It's a good.
I have no
fun
clue.
show.
I think the vampire in Fright Night was pretty cool too. You guys remember Fright Night, that movie?
Yeah.
Came out in the fall. It was.
Yeah, nobody believed he was a vampire except the kid.
Yeah.
That's a well-written script. I like that. Yeah.
When you look at like vampires, just to use them, right? Like to write stories about them and to do things with them. What is it about vampires that is it like? Because I think they're intriguing just because there's like this hunger that they can't satisfy, right?
Right.
They have this kind of thing that they're vulnerable but they're really strong. So they there's all kinds of weaknesses but they're super strong.
Yeah.
They've got this hunger that they can never satisfy. What is it about them that like is interesting to you?
Well, they're cool. The best ones are just very cool. I mean, and they're eternally cool because they can live forever, supposedly, if they don't get staked or whatever. Right. But they just have so many different levels of things that's interesting about them, like you said, But me personally, like I said, I throw out a lot of that stuff. I mean, the one vampire is based on a friend of mine, Raymond, and he is just basically a smartass. I mean, he's constantly saying the inappropriate things and the worst situations. But he's smooth with the ladies or whoever, and he's always out for a good time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
How long has Raymond been around?
yeah, Raymond's been around a long time. It's weird, when I saw True Blood, and I remember they would show like medieval stuff and this and that.
Yeah.
I try and play with that in different ways. I've gone back as far as the 30s and the 40s with Raymond so far.
Yeah, that's the thing I think about with vampires all the time is that immortality aspect.
Right.
You would think that at least the ones that are mindful would, like Raymond, like if he says the wrong things at the wrong time to get people's goat,
right.
you would think that it was completely on purpose if he had lived long enough. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It's like this is like Highlander, man.
Well, yeah, different parts. With me, I try and because it's New Jersey and I've lived in New Jersey. I guess my parents might have moved here in the early '80s. I've been all over New Jersey, so I write that. I ground it. I write that into the comic. I know with one issue, I worked at the Jersey Shore, Wildwood in '84. So I was one of those guys on the boardwalk, the obnoxious guys. That's right, sir. You can be a winner. 3 in and you win. Win a prize for your lovely lady. Win something for your lovely girl. I was down there before we had mics. Those guys have mics now and stuff. I had to yell. I actually lost my voice the first week. But I have one character who's the mother of Cassidy. I don't want to give away too much. And Raymond has basically been kind of shadowing her entire life. And you don't find out why until actually you find out the 7th issue. So in this issue, you find out why. But yeah, you can have a lot of fun with that. And I ground it. Like I literally put him on the boardwalk in different places. He's a day walker. Well, I don't call him a day walker, but he is.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys know that. Because of Blade, vampires can be day walkers. So and I make hybrids. I have one, Wanda, the one that Karen Nicole plays. She's she can shapeshift. So it's in a way, it's like a Harry Potterish thing. Her dad was a shapeshifter and her mom was a vampire.
Is it shape-shifting only into other humanoids, or can she shape-shift into like a tree or a cat?
That's a good point. I haven't tried that yet. So far, it's been to deceive. If you get the first issue, by the 3rd issue, you realize she was actually one of the main characters that you thought wasn't one of them.
So it's like Mystique from the X-Men.
Right.
Okay.
To set up the story.
That's cool.
Oh, nice.
So, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Now I remember last time you were on the show, you were talking about kind of how your universe is going to tie in.
Yeah.
Do you have other story ideas that you're working on that are going to tie into this universe?
Yeah, actually, I actually have Witches of Westchester, which is going to tie in. I already wrote the first couple of issues, and I wanted something different as far as witches. I liked the craft. Mm-hmm. And a lot of other witch stories, Witches of Eastwick. I like some of this stuff, but I actually looked at Westchester, because there's a Westchester in New Jersey, there's one in New York, there's one in Pennsylvania, and I looked how many Westchesters are there in the world, and where did it come from? Obviously, it's from Chestershire or somewhere or something like that in England, but throughout time there have been a lot of Westchesters. And I wrote a story that connects those towns are cursed in a way, and there's witches in each town throughout time. And I wrote the story that kind of connects those witches together throughout time to fix and solve things as they go.
Nice,
and
man.
It's tied into a modern day Westchester, not Westchester University, but a college in Westchester. With a woman who's training the younger female witches to do their thing, but they're mixed in with the regular college crowd. So,
Lance Footer, Alton.
That's a great idea,
and that's done. Well, when I come up with ideas, I'm not like Paul. Paul is under the gun if he works for like a major. I've never had a real deal. I pitched Columbia and I pitched a couple of places, but when you work for yourself, you can actually go, well, gee, is this a good idea or not? Let me think about it. you know, and I was telling you guys before when I got my PhD, I would write 200 pages. I give it to my committee and they would throw in the trash, go write again. It sucks. So I got frustrated. So that's why I started writing Vampires in New Jersey, because I wanted to kind of free my mind up.
You know,
So I can literally sit and say, is this a good idea, and play with it until I feel in my gut that this is original. You know,
I think that's another side to that, right? Which is, it's interesting that you say it that way, because sometimes, right, like limitation drives creativity.
right.
And so when you're under a deadline, or when you know that you've got to deliver something, it actually can be pretty good for you. It makes you make decisions.
Right.
And there's nothing worse than not making decisions, because it can cripple you, like paralysis by analysis. You're like not making a decision because you haven't quite decided which one you're going to go with, and you got to some extent too much time to think. So like when I write a screenplay, a lot of what I do is I put pressure on myself. I'll tell my friends, I'm going to deliver a screenplay by like August the 27th. And they roll their eyes. They go, not that again. Like, I know you're going to give it by the 23rd.
Right.
I do it to put the time pressure on myself so that I don't have any choice but to finish it.
That's what I do that too. I do that too.
Do you do that with your book? Like, because ultimately, even though you got all the luxury of all the time, you can't take all the time. Otherwise it never gets made.
Well, with Vampires, I've kind of got, like at issue 7, it's kind of going where it's going. And I always write ahead. Like I write 3 or 4 issues ahead. So I'm confident when the artist, because like I said, you know, everybody I work with is doing something else. I'm not their full-time anything. So I write ahead and I give those 3 issues to the artist so that when he finishes working on some big film for Mouse House, he can, you know, just roll right into my whatever. But yeah, I do set deadlines for myself, because I don't want to sit around forever waiting for something to click, you know. But it's got a certain mojo at this point. Vampires does. And then spinning Werewolves off of that. And the best thing for me is, like I said, I'm in stores. So I partnered with 25, you know, small business owners in Jersey and Pennsylvania. And I'll take my book to them or my idea, and you know, they'll look at it, and if it sucks, they will tell me, because it's Jersey. And if they think it's a good idea, you know, they tell me. So I get a lot of instant feedback, and then they, you know, they put it in the store, and I've been lucky. I was telling you guys before, I just talked to Mike at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. I've sold out there. I think all my issues have sold out there 3 or 4 times in the last 2 years. So,
by the way, can you hear me better now? I guess apparently no one can hear me.
That's clear. So I've been lucky to be able to build to where I'm at right now, you know, and it's kind of been organic, because some stores actually hear about it now and then they contact me, which is cool.
Yeah, but are you now reaching outside of New Jersey though? Are you trying to hit like the Northeast or anything like that? Getting a hold of those comic shops?
Well, that's the thing with the stores. For a guy like me, who's basically a one guy shop, I like to go to the stores and actually deal with them. Now, since COVID hit, you know, it's been hard on everybody, and I haven't been able to go to the stores as much. They're starting to get back to more normal now, which is good. But I'm hopefully, you know, I'd like to get the 10 issues before I try and go national with the comic. You know, and that's either through Diamond or however I do it. You know, I just want to be able to say, you put that issue out and people can count on the next issues coming to finish the story, you know. Because with indies, a lot of people go, there's a lot of store owners will say to me, I love that first issue, but I get a lot of guys that do that 1 or 2 issues and then they run out of money and everything goes haywire. So I want to come packing. I want to have it ready to go. So.
Yeah. Now for Fraga and Paul, I mean, with your books, you know, that you have coming out, I mean, are you going to look to try to push them into any comic stores as well?
If the margins work, you know, that's the thing is I have a lot of buddies that are retailers, and that's what it boils down to, because you end up getting to a point where you want to make sure the margin works for the retailer to make money, but you have to kind of have a suggested retail price, and at a store, does that model work? You know, so it's a crazy balance, a lot of moving.
Every store is different too.
Yeah,
every store is different.
The only way that I've been able to make it work, because the margins didn't work with the first time we did it with FairyQuest. It was a real problem, right? I really wanted to get it to retailers, and I did everything I could. And basically, I was selling to retailers, and they were going to make like $15 to $20, and I was going to make $1.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I was okay because I wasn't losing money. But at a certain point, it was just support the retailers for what, right? In that regard, it's really hard for us.
Yeah.
But what I realized afterwards was that I think if I do a signed copy that's like a really nice one, in other words, if I give them something special that they can upcharge to some extent, with the stuff that we've added to it, that makes it special, then they can charge that, and then we can work out a way in which we can actually get paid as well. Because otherwise, it's really hard. But I really want to support the retailers. Like Dan, I've got plenty of people that are friends of mine that I want to support.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to do it sometimes.
Yeah. I was lucky enough that they would have me sit in there and sign books for people too.
Yep.
Which was like my own little con with just me there, which was great,
Yep.
So, and at this point I've done, I've been in the stores for a while. I've sold out, and they like what I do and they trust me when I come up with, there's people waiting, subscribe to Blackjack, my superhero guy, and I didn't know Vampires was going to like do so well on Indiegogo and it was going to go to other places. So as a small guy now, I'm trying to pivot, and do different things, but I also want to complete what I'm doing with Vampires because it seems to be working very well. So, and I've been lucky that I also want to announce another thing. I've been lucky that I've done the cons, and last 2 years I did the New Jersey Horror Con in Atlantic City. And because I'm a filmmaker and I've had movies to stream on Amazon and in film festivals and things, I met through panels. I met a bunch of Jersey, New York film guys, and they were constantly saying, we want to work with you. We want to do something. So I'm working with them to develop a pilot of Vampires in New Jersey that hopefully we can shoot next summer.
Cool, man. That's
Awesome.
What's it like doing the horror cons? Like as a comic creator, like do you get a good crowd coming around? Are they interested?
Because I think I was doing Wizard World, Wizard World Philly, and one of the guys there, and I met some amazing people. He was like, "Dude, you do a horror comic," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's a horror comic, but I think of it as a comic." He said, "You could probably be doing like horror cons." So I segued into horror cons, and I really stood out because I did a comic. There weren't a lot of comic people there. So it worked well. A lot of it is where, like every con, it's where you're seated and who you're up against. The New Jersey Horror Con is kind of crazy because literally it's like I'll be here, and then like next to me will be Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. And then like in front of him was I think the principal from Saved by the Bell. And the next to him was Ron Jeremy. And the next to him was Ed Furlong. So it was like, potpourri of different, genres or different things. And everybody apparently has done a horror movie at some time in their resume, whether or not we remember him for it. Like the guy from, and I love Greatest American Hero. I think he did House. That's a horror movie.
William Cat.
Yeah. And he was, that was like when I was a kid, my head exploded when that show came on. That was like my favorite show. So a lot of it for me is like, wow, this is great. I get to meet these people that I, have loved for years.
Now the theme song is stuck in my head. I just want you to know.
Well, it was.
Can we all sing it?
Believe it or not,
I'm walking in there.
I never thought I would be
So free. I had that curly hair.
Away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
all clumsily flying through the air.
It's XP.
Believe it or not, it's just me.
There you go.
I can feel the
fun.
testosterone literally flooding out my body right now. What are you doing?
Yeah, it was just cool, So yeah, it was weird. It was weird being there, but because I was there, and I've done like some films. I met like film people that I'll be able to work with next year. I want to make it as as super professional as I can, so that we can send it to festivals and possibly get like a bigger deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, it's another way of developing out. I think I was telling you guys before, whenever I tell people when they ask me about writing, try thinking of whatever you're writing a lot of different ways, because nobody knew Legally Blonde was going to be a musical, but it is. So kind of like think to yourself, hey, would this make a good anime? Would this make a good cartoon? Would this make a good, TV series or series of films? It's a lot of ways of looking at things.
Yeah, we got another guest with us tonight. A man who's done a couple covers for you. A good friend of the show. Someone who brings the salty. He brings the melty. He brings the butter. Mr. Steph Wilson.
Hello. Hey.
Hey.
What's happening,
Hi,
Steph?
Paul. Hey, Frank.
Steph.
I
Hey,
love
Steph.
Steph Wilson, Fragaboom, and Paul Jenkins coming in?
Salty, melty, buttery
Wow.
goodness in the house.
Steph
What?
Wilson.
Is that a cover you got there, Al?
Of
Wow.
course.
That's
There you
important.
go, buddy.
Foil cover
that.
of Wanda, and of course,
The
over here,
Witches of Westchester.
Which is a Westchester cover. And he did.
Nice.
These were issue 6. Of course, he did some more for issue 7.
It's so shiny.
Yeah. Thank you, Steph.
So
You're
shiny.
very good, man.
I was wondering if you could.
I met Steph at a small con in Steph. When was that? February?
Yeah.
It was cold. I remember that.
Yeah. January or February.
It was at the shore too. I couldn't believe it was a con. I was like so happy to go to a con. It was like winter. And I was
Oh,
like,
and then you had to walk along the boardwalk like to get to a restaurant, and you're like freezing.
yeah.
I think Lee is freaking out right now,
I know.
Steph.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Steph? You got my comic at that con, and I took a picture of you. And I'm looking at that picture the other day. I'm like, did I actually meet Steph Wilson?
You were the first.
Yeah, like I couldn't believe that I had met you. I was like, because I've worked with you had so much fun working with you on these covers. Steph, you're everywhere, and we love you, man.
Yeah, you were the first, man.
Yeah, really? No, really?
Yeah. You know what?
Do you guys
It's
want
weird.
like a second? We can step out.
Yeah.
Well, I was
We'll
gonna,
all go backstage.
I bet
He's
you
like,
said-
really?
I bet you said
Yeah.
everybody.
I forgot it's Pop XP. You can't say anything.
New Jersey guys, we're just catching up. Go ahead. Now it's your show.
No, actually,
It's not my show. It's your show.
I went in to stop to see somebody, Phil, there at that show.
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.
He was
Demon
a
Phil.
fan, and he wanted to meet me, and I was like there, and he introduced us. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you were the first, because what happened was after that I went to Baltimore, and that was like the big thing. By then I had a couple covers out, and everybody wanted to meet me. But when I met you, I probably had like 2 or 3 covers out. Nobody knew who I was.
Unbelievable.
You went to Baltimore last year?
Yes,
Stuff?
I did.
Oh,
Yes, I did.
did you come to
Frank,
our?
amazing.
Did you come to the booth? I mean,
I don't remember your booth.
what? It was the big with the lights.
Giant lights. No,
And Billy
this
Tucci was
sounds
there.
familiar.
Dan
When I
was
was
there in
there-
the cage dancing in his ears.
Wait, but
Funny.
I'm sure I would remember.
Paul
doesn't
was
Billy
riding
get, like-
around on his bicycle.
Billy gets like 3 booths. He looks like Xenoscope at a convention, right?
Oh yeah.
With,
Yeah,
like,
he does.
with attendants.
Hey, man,
like,
they give it
with
to you, man.
attendants.
I'm not going to say no, right, Fragga? Someone's going to give you 3 boots. Take it.
Yeah, you got to take
For
it.
those-
I mean, it's
You
better
gotta
than
take
that little 4-foot table that you got to put all your stuff on and
Damn
Yeah,
try
right.
to also draw.
Yeah, you turn and everything flies off the table.
And he
Yeah.
has booth girls with the little shorts and stuff like that. Yeah. I know.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
No, the coolest thing was when I met Alton at that little itty bitty show. That was what was really cool. Was that has been Alton all along. You know, he goes to every little show. He puts in appearances at this was at a American Legion Hall or something. It was one of those really small.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
he goes to every comic book store he can drive to and pushes his books. Long before, like some of these guys, they come out, they create a comic, and they go right on Kickstarter. This guy was doing it old school, the way like fanzines used to get into comic stores and stuff like that. Like, where somebody was just an author and they wanted to get their stuff out. So I was so impressed just talking to him about the work he did, like the real boots on the ground kind of work, that I was like, I got to do a cover for you. I have to do a cover for you.
Thank you, Steph.
No, man, you put in the work.
It's magic. Your work's magic, man. People love it. It's amazing.
And it's great because he has such a penetration. Oh boy, he has Pop XP. Can't say that. He has such a coverage in the local area, like all the comic stores in New Jersey and stuff. So he's always got that base, that really solid fan base of real independence. people who always support him. And that's nice, you know, because a lot of times these people who kickstart, they don't have a physical area of fans that are devoted to them. So they don't get that kind of like support and, like he said, feedback that they need to really guide their books.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even have a graphic novel if it wasn't for the stores telling me, you know, you're up to issue 5 and people want to catch up, but they would catch up quicker if you did a graphic novel. So could you do one for us? So me and my wife put it together, and, you know, that's from them. They asked for it, you know, so I've been lucky like that. You know?
How long does it take you to do a book for each issue? What's your time frame from, you know, from scripts to your final product?
Well, I usually write a certain time of year, a lot, but let's see. I'd say if Connor's not too busy interior wise, like it's not the middle of Pixar season or something crazy, probably 60 to 90 days. 60 to 90 days.
Nice.
Good turnaround. Now, Herrenberg asks, you know, what are your 3 to 4 best New Jersey stores besides Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash?
Well, that's like saying who's your best girlfriend. I mean, Jesus, put me on the spot. I love all the stores, but I did get started at Ron's Comic World in Mount Holly, New Jersey. And literally, that's my store. I would go and get comics there. And I did the issue 1. And I was like, geez, I do films. I don't do in commercials. I don't really do comics. I'll go ask Ron. So I go, Ron, you know, what do you think? And he's like, well, the paper's nice. I'll put it in. So then the next day, my buddy texted me and he's like, dude, I went to get your comic and the issues are sold out. So that's really how it started.
That's awesome.
All the stores near, you know, right around where I live, I know the guys really well. Plunder Palace and Cherry Hill. He's like a one-guy operation, Mark. He started it with his brother, and his brother's an accountant. And his career took off, so he's there. But he constantly does things. He's the first open air con I just did. Like, he had a small one. He moved all his stuff outside next to the store, and people came, and we could be outside, you know, and not be worried about COVID. And I said, yeah, why aren't more people doing that? But it's very hard, you know, because not everybody has the space. And not everybody has the innovative, you know, like, I'm going to try this and see if it works. You want to take the risks. But, you know, I've been lucky. I've been lucky with all the stores. I really have.
Yeah. Now, Christine Venner asks, any plans to start shipping outside the States? I believe she's in the UK.
Yeah, I actually have shipped. Well, one of the artists, Simon Bennett, is in the UK. I've actually shipped to the UK a couple of times, and I opened it up. I did USA for the Kickstarter last time, but if you're anywhere in the world and you want my comic, just contact me on Facebook and I'll get it to you. I mean, I'll figure out something.
All right, awesome. When you also have the digital,
way, right, bro?
What was that?
There's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I mean, if you like the comic, I want you to get it. You know, I'm not.
Yep.
I'll do what I can, but I have shipped to the UK pretty often, actually. A couple of people have, like, you know, requested during the Kickstarter, and then after the Kickstarter was over, just, you know, through channels. So,
all right, cool. She says thanks.
yeah, contact me. I'll get it to you.
Awesome. And Dan, man, how's your campaign going? You know, everything's set. You in fulfillment mode?
No, I'm still working on it. We won't be fulfilling probably till November.
Oh, that's not too far away.
No, and that's early. Our campaign has us at January 2021, but we're gonna be coming in early.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, fulfillment. We're gonna be doing fulfillment ourselves, and, you know, got our first samples in today for the paper and the card stock, and you know, little tweaks and changes to give the quality and look of the book that we want to get.
Yeah.
You know, but right now I'm just focused on all the under the hood stuff, and people are going to start seeing some more sneak peeks of art from the book. I just don't want to give up too much.
Oh,
yeah,
cool,
it's tough, isn't it? You want to show everything, but you can't. You got to piece it out.
Yeah. It's a weird thing, but also, you know, as everybody here on this panel knows, we have this sort of curse as creators of intimate knowledge. So something to us, we go, we can't show that. They're wearing the necklace because it means everything to us.
Yeah.
Like, to the audience, it's imperceivable.
Right.
You know, but in our mind, we're like, if we show that, you know, so it's a funny little tug of war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Alton, have you done an Indiegogo?
I did one for like the first issue, and it was horrible. Like I didn't even have a clue what I was doing. I think I closed it right after it opened. It just landed with a thud. And what I learned from that, and I think you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. What I learned was you got to like build interest. You had to, find your audience target, go out there. I joined a lot of groups. It's not even like Facebook marketing because their algorithm changes like every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's hard to, it's like a lock that the combination is constantly changing. It's better to do, mano y mano, face to face, go into a group, discuss things with people and get it out there. So yeah, I did do Indiegogo. I'm not against doing another one, but I was lucky enough to meet Wendy and Steph, who, elevated my game as far as what to do with Kickstarter. I mean, they just know how their things should be presented because, we all love our comic and what we're doing, but you got to open it up and realize, it's a business and it's marketing and it's a little bit of mojo. It's a lot of bit of luck and it's, you
got to be all over social media.
Yeah.
I myself am not, but
that's where the work is. I mean, right, Paul and Dan? I mean, man, the promotion, you got to promote the hell out of it. You got to.
With Indiegogo.
You got to find like 1,000 things
Yeah.
about the campaign that you can post, whether it's stretch goals or art reveals or whatever. And then you just start from like a month before. And every chance you get to post about it, you do, and slap a link on it and share it around. And
Yeah, Dan and I were talking about this the other night because I think different people have different ways of doing it, but there is a good way of doing this, right? And then different people have different approaches to it because I have had an affliction my entire career. Right? I am not a self-promoter, and I've always been like averse to it. I'll shy away from it. Like I'll avoid self-promotion because I love the work, right? I love making stuff.
Yeah.
And I always love making things. And so the worst chore in the world to me, the thing that I don't feel comfortable with is saying, hey, everyone, look at me. Look at my stuff. Look at me.
That's part of the deal, though. Like,
I know, man. I know.
Yeah, you were saying that
straight on that.
you used to be a barker on the boardwalk, right? And what ends up happening is and it's the same thing with pop music. You may hear a song once and you're like, eh. By the fifth time you hear it, you're actually dancing to it. And it's the same thing with getting your book out there, getting imagery out there. With Black Flag, I was talking about it last year. And I was posting like breadcrumbs, and then you get on a platform. I started my YouTube stuff in October, talked about stuff in October, into February, started the mailing list up in March, then launched the campaign in April. But it's basically getting it into people's heads. So by the time they see that countdown, they're chomping at the bit.
Yep.
They want the book because they've heard so much about it and it's ingrained in their mind.
Yeah, and I think it's important, right? I mean, that's the point. Is what the point that you guys were making was that this is a number of things, right? It's the content, it's marketing, it's all of these things, right? It's the fulfillment and all of that, right?
Oh yeah.
So for me, like content, sure, fulfillment, sure, all of these things. Love working hard, love all of that stuff. But I've historically been a quirky kind of person, and I guess the best way I can put it is, I've never been to an awards ceremony. I was saying this to you the other night, Dan. I've won an Eisner Award, right? I didn't show up.
Yeah,
I could care less.
Yeah.
I
have to work.
I like what I make, right? And so that's actually a problem for me, right? It's actually something
I figured it out. You need a Stan Lee.
It's a challenge.
You know what I mean? Like but obviously you need to be compensated better than the people understand. But like Kirby wasn't a self promoter either. No. But you had Stan out there. Jolly Jack and Dangerous, all these, giving these guys nicknames and bigging them up, Sometimes that's what it takes.
I agree. And I think that, what I have to do with my company, there are times when, and this isn't a moan, this is more of like a reality, which is, I make the stuff and I'm also making lots of different projects at the same time. I've got things to do, right? I have to do a novel right now. I have to do loads and loads and loads of things. And so one of the things would be making all the content. Now I got to write the script. I got to make sure that our artist is on board. I'm editing the books. I got to make sure that, our colorist is delivering stuff and everybody's doing everything. I got to bug Billy for his cover and I got to, I got to do all this stuff.
That's why he's gone, right?
Yeah.
There he is. He came back as soon as he was busted, he came back.
And I got to do all these things. And then I'm going to sit there, right? And, this is just a reality, right? It's COVID time, man. I love my kids. Yeah. And when I wake up in the morning, I take them to school in my house and I teach them and I make sure, because both of them have a bit of a struggle in school right now, and I finish that and then I go to work. And so you're going to add on promotion and marketing and all of that. Now we got people at Meta, like we're doing it, right? But I learned a lot recently because our Fairy Quest had a built-in audience for Kickstarter, but we just went up on Indiegogo and, kind of didn't go up right, I think. I think it's a beautiful project. It looks so good.
It's stunning.
In fact, it looks amazing, right? And that campaign looks incredible.
It's beautiful.
I didn't do much of this previewing kind of stuff, like with getting all the, getting all of the email addresses and stuff. So we've got the content, right? And we got the materials and we got that stuff, but it's almost like making a beautiful project and putting it in the forest. Now, it's not to say we have a problem. It's just that we didn't launch in a way that had this kind of thing that you just said, which is all of this anticipation.
Yeah. And, Paul, one of the things, to your point, there are a lot of people who are on social media and promote their projects and stuff and do a pretty good job of getting, let's just call them ads out there of promotions. But part of social media, one of the biggest things, and I've talked to a few artists who struggle with Instagram, you have to understand how the platform works. So even if you're not great at promotion, don't worry about it. There's a lot of artists who go on social media all the time, but they don't understand how the platform works. And part of it is, like, my screen time is ridiculous because if you're not interacting with every interaction on your Facebook feed, you're not building the algorithms that you need where promotion is going to make a difference. In other words, if you don't go on Facebook and use it as an interactive tool, which is what it's designed as, when you throw a promotion out there, not very many people are going to see it.
Right.
So the way that a lot of people are going to see it is when you're an active user. It's all about engagement. Like Facebook and now Instagram, since they're combined, they work on an engagement scale. The more engaged your content is response-wise, and the more engaged you are with the platform, is how your particular postings really reach out. And so a lot of artists who are on Facebook a lot are just not using the tool the way it's designed. So, everybody struggles with it. It's a learning thing.
And the other thing you got to remember, and Dan, you can attest to this, is that you can't think of Kickstarter or Indiegogo as a sprint, right? You don't have to come out of the gate, boom, and make your goal that day. Especially like, say, someone like you, Paul, that you've already had a super successful campaign on Kickstarter. This is a marathon, right? I mean, you've got to be on because it grows. Like our campaign in demand. We've made more money in demand on Indiegogo than we did in our 30-day campaign or 21-day campaign only.
I hear you, man.
We more than doubled it. Our in-demand time more than doubled our regular campaign numbers.
I hear you. I think the thing that I want to try to learn next, right, is I see some people doing this in a great way. Dan, yourself, Brian Polito. And one of the things that I think is so good is I'm watching Brian and he's like, when I'm at shows, I'm the friendliest, biggest carnival barker there is. Hey, everyone, coming up. And but it's the presenting that by yourself in an office and going like, hey, everyone, I'm live on. And so I'm British. I have such a British mentality to it. I'm sort of like, who am I? I'm not that special. And I hope that my mum doesn't find out I'm saying I'm special. She'll kill me, right? It's very stupid. It's not. It's just like that sort of inbuilt like humility that might be too much humility. It just over the top. Like don't kill yourself, don't beat yourself up, right? Because ultimately people do want to share with you and they do want to hang. So I think, you know, a lot of what we're doing is we're getting back to our YouTube channel, because I think the thing that's really important to me about my YouTube channel is that I get to do a story behind the story on every book I've ever written. And there is a story behind every book that I've ever written. Every single issue. Fairy Quest has got amazing saga behind it, like all these things. And so people love that content. And from now on, I think I'm going to do it as a streaming thing, because I think people want to interact with you. They want you to talk to them. So I get you about the fan engagement. It's just, how many hours have I got in a day? Right. Just
that's the hard part, man. It's full time, but you know, it's the reward. The reward is there.
Yeah. You know, and part of it is like, you're on Pop XP now. There are lots of live streams going on Facebook all the time. Where you could just, you know, go on for a short show. And when you talk to these people and interview on somebody else's show, you're meeting all of their fans, maybe for the first time. And so you gotta, you know, if you get a chance, and Paul, with your accent, you're gonna blow them away. They're gonna love you on that show. You sound fantastic. So you do a couple of those little live shows, and you get to see people that never knew your work even existed, because maybe they're following different kinds of comics, or they never saw your promotions.
Yeah, it doesn't help. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to reach out to people. Hey, I see you have the show. I love your show. Can I come on? You know, Alton, you contact, you see someone show you like it. Hey, you know, I'm a, you know, I don't know, comic tropes. I'm a big fan of your show. You know, you think I can come on? You can cover my book or something? What do you got to lose? You got to think of it as a business.
I got nothing to lose. I just said we're clear. It's not like I have an issue with any of this stuff. It's more like, I think there are times when like we did very well on Kickstarter, so we're good, right? Yeah. We want to make sure that Fairy Quest is available to a big audience on Indiegogo that don't go on Kickstarter. And they don't go on it, right? And so what we figured was we put it out on Kickstarter, do our thing, move it to Indiegogo. And the one thing that's great about Indiegogo, I mean, as far as I can see, is the platform is easier. You can put your stuff up. It stays up for longer. Indiegogo seems really intuitive and a great platform. But we don't have an existing fan base there yet. And so we're trying to remedy that. And I think that the one of the ways that we could have done a better job would be to build it up before we launched. Okay, lesson learned, right? We'll change that next time. But at the moment, I'm going to work with what I've got, right? Like, we're up there anyway. It's all good. So we're going to go and make the best of it, go push it. I'm going on dancing tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah. So we're going to go on tomorrow. I'm here tonight. We're always going to push it. We always do reach. I spend a lot of time reaching out to people, asking them, hey, could you help us? Could you push us? And can I be on your show? And the big thing for me is really just like making sure that I push our book for 30 days. We got 30 days to go. We just put it up yesterday. So 30 days push in, and we'll go make something happen, and we'll turn it into something really positive, you know?
Yeah, I think it's like a confidence thing, Paul, because you know people love your stuff. And once you get that feedback from the people, it's like a fire. Then you should say to yourself, well, I know what I have is like worthy of me explaining it to people. You know what I mean? Because you're right. Hey, Wendy, love you.
Hey, Wendy.
Hey, Wendy.
You know, we are taking up people's time when we're trying to sell them something, because they could be using that time doing something else, or buying something else, or getting something else, or with their family or whatever. So yeah, we are taking away from them, but what you do has value because people have already told you it has value.
Yeah, I've never lacked, man, let me something straight. I've never lacked for confidence in my life, right? I know I can do that.
No, I just mean about the actual, conversation of telling people. Or
it's more that. It's more like, I think some people are born for marketing. Some people are great at it, right?
Yeah, I was in sales, financial sales, mortgages and finance sales before, before I started filming.
And listen, man, when I was at Marvel, right? When I was doing, just literally doing whatever I wanted to do, did the origin of Wolverine, did all these things, wrote Spider-Man. I still wasn't a self-promoter, man. I literally would show up at shows, be the friendliest guy, start from the beginning, hang out with the fans. But once you put me up on a stage, I'm like, I don't want to be up on a stage. I'll go drinking with the fans. I'm friendly, but I'm not really the guy that's going to sit there and go, hey, look at me, I'm Paul Jane. I'm just not that guy. Yeah. So I have to go beat that out of myself, because it's not the best way of approaching it.
We're going to do it, Paul.
Thanks. Well, beat me up tomorrow, man. Beat me.
Yeah, no, you are. I think you're amazing, man. So the world needs to know.
Yeah, I saw you on my buddy Omri's show.
Oh, Henry, yeah.
I sat there and watched that show, man. I was eating it up. You were talking about, experiences you've been through with film and developing things. And I was just like, I said, every time I watch this guy, I just learn a lot,
I like all of the positive stuff, right? Like, Dan and I were talking about this the other night, right? Like, I like the positive stuff. I like mentoring people. I like being positive. I will push anybody else's book. I got that affliction, right? I'll push anyone else's book, and then I feel weird about asking people to push my book, right? I know it sounds stupid. It's just but I think this is interesting for this conversation, because let's be clear, right? This is all about like teaching people how to do it and understanding crowdfunding. So what's my biggest challenge? My biggest challenge is if you put me on a stage, I'll be entertaining and I love everybody, but I'd much rather hang out. And so the way I've always been at shows, fans will come up to me and go, Mr. Jenkins, I'd love to buy you a beer. And I'll go, let me buy you one instead. Because you already pay my wages. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's sort of like, I don't need to be held up on a pedestal. And I never have, and it doesn't matter what I was doing, I never wanted to be. But the fact is, fans like that, man. They want you to be on a pedestal. I know it sounds crazy, but they want the signature and they want to be special. And so it's something that I've spent years trying to learn and trying to get better at. Which
part of the gig, man. I ever since I was a kid, I get social anxiety, and every time I go to a convention and set up my table, I feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. Yeah. But then you have to remember, it's part of the deal.
Yeah. I got none of that panic. I love speaking. I mean, listen, man, I speak at conventions all the time. I speak at futurism conventions. I speak in public. I just did a TED talk, right? It's peppermint schnapps, by the way.
Peppermint schnapps, yeah.
What size bottle this time?
Fresh breath in the morning.
But I love fans. I love speaking in public. I adore it. I would speak in public every day. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
It's the bit where I go, hey, would you do me a favor and buy my book? And that's the bit where I go, I feel like it's an imposition. And then I'm like, what am I doing, man?
But Paul, you don't have to do that. If you like interacting with the fans, which is what I love doing. Like, most of my fans are friends now on social media, just because we chat in messages and stuff like that. If you like the fans, that's what Facebook is for. I mean, as much as it's an advertising platform and there's a lot of algorithms involved and everything else, it is a social engagement platform. So if you like the fans, just chat with the fans, talk to the fans. When you post something up there, your fans are going to say, oh, that looks awesome, or oh, I can't wait. This is your chance to just chat with them the way you would at a con. Like, treat social media the way you do the table at a con, and you'll be fine. Oh, great.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! How are we doing?
Niall, are you going to do the happy birthday, Mr. President bit?
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Give me some sexy mic talk, Niall. Come on.
To you. Oh, behave.
There we go. There we go. Now I'm gonna change my shorts.
That's great.
Let me go get my popcorn.
Thanks for sharing your birthday with us, stuff.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, dude.
Happy birthday, man.
Nothing but a party.
Now it's awkward and weird.
No.
Hey, let's back some books. Hey, check out Vampires of New Jersey.
Yeah, Vampires of New Jersey by one of the most accomplished human beings living today. Alton's got his
one of the most interesting men
I've met.
Mortgages. He's a filmmaker. He was a carnival barker when he was a kid. Oh my God.
He's going to invite all of us on set when he shoots that film next summer.
I want to go on his yacht.
If you're in Jersey, I'm an indie guy. DJ. I might have a dinghy. That's about it.
Where in Jersey do you live?
Mount Laurel near Morristown. South Jersey.
I love Morristown.
Yeah,
nice.
I was married in Morristown, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of my town.
You ever go visit the Revolutionary War stuff over there?
I will now.
You got to go Washington at his headquarters there and stuff.
Dude, you haven't done that?
Well, my kids' school took them to those places. So, I've had conversations with them about it. But
you guys ever see Turn? It's on Netflix now and AMC. I think it was Turn.
Okay.
No.
No.
Oh, by America's Spies, freaking awesome.
Really?
Oh,
So check that out.
Okay. Turn. That's easy
Yeah.
to remember.
yeah, Alton, this is the crossroads of the revolution, I think they call New Jersey or something like that. This
Yeah, it's a crossroads of something. That's for sure. Oh,
One
yeah.
side of the tracks, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of history.
I mean, they don't have pizza like Connecticut does, but you know.
New Haven, baby, pizza capital of the world.
no.
What was that, Pepe's or whatever?
I know, right?
Puppies.
Just because, and just like Antifa says, you know, we're anti-fascist doesn't mean they're not fascists. You know?
Pizza capital of the world.
Oh, God.
You'll learn. You'll learn.
I didn't know.
You'll all learn.
We'll bring
That's
it when
New
we go to
England.
Billy's barbecue.
Connecticut's New England.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank Amazing.
Maple
Did you hear
State.
Tom Seaver died today?
Yeah,
Who?
very
Uh,
sad.
who?
The-
Tom terrific.
Baseball player.
Big Mets
Yeah.
pitcher
I remember him.
from back in the day.
Really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Seemed like a really nice guy and very talented.
That dimension.
Mets, where are they from? Pittsburgh? Because there's only one New York team. Baseball.
Actually, there's three. There were
There's three New York Facebook. Wait. No,
There
there's,
used to
There
be
were
three.
Brooklyn.
There used to
right?
be three.
I would
Yeah.
like to know.
Brooklyn.
I'd like to know
there's
if
only
the,
one New York football team, and that's
Yeah.
the Buffalo Bills. That's the Giants play New Jersey.
Well played.
I would like to
Yeah.
know if as you guys are talking about baseball, if the look on my face is sufficiently, yes, I'm interested and I know a lot about baseball. How am I doing?
Yeah.
That's the same look Mile gives, so don't worry
Just do
about
this, Paulie. Just do this.
Oh yeah. Babe Ruth.
Maybe throw a few of these in there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You know, and Paul is full of shit because we had that conversation about the Marvel DC softball game at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Right.
that
Him
was
and
a big
Alberto
thing.
Ramos, another guy who's never played baseball, got the second MVP for the second year.
I won the MVP for
Followed
my
by yours truly, who got it the first year though.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup.
Was that
Stanley-
presented by Stan Lee?
Paul?
Billy got year one, and ever since he got the MVP in year one, he's been like Al Bundy. Basically, he
That's
he
right.
threw 5 touchdowns for Paul
Yes,
Carr,
I
and you're
can
never
see
going to
that.
hear the end of it, right?
Well, then all of a sudden, and then Paul Jenkins and Umberto Ramos come and they act like they've never played baseball before. They know nothing, and these guys are ringers.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, God.
Yeah, wait,
Like-
we
Stop
we
pool
talk,
sharks.
other pros all talk about it, and they're like, that's Paul fucking Jenkins.
Okay, so the truth is,
Somebody who's got a face at Billy on a polk high.
Polk high, yeah.
jersey for me. Somebody's gotta find
5
out
touchdowns for Paul Carr.
and face
So
at Billy on
this is
that
a true story, though. I
poster.
may as well tell it again quickly. So we played, and we're sort of like playing, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, we'll play softball. I could care less. And it's not like I'd never played before, but I didn't really play softball.
Right.
And Peter David was pitching for Marvel, and it's a 7-inning softball game, and he ran out of gas after 3 innings. Right?
I think you saved his life. I think Peter David might have
And he went.
passed away on the mound.
Right, and Peter went. He had a sweatband on, like a sweatband, and he came off after the 3rd inning. And he's like, "Man, you got to take me out. I've given all I've got." And I'm like, "It's fucking sorry." Okay, got it. So
Like a sweatband like tennis players use? What the hell do you need that for?
I
Did he
could
ring
just
it out?
imagine how sweet it looked.
and I guess Peter like pitched and all that in softball league, but he's like, I'm done, I'm shot. And I'm like, great. So they said, who here can pitch? And I went, yeah, I can. And I've never pitched ever in my life. So
Yeah, right.
I had never pitched. And so I threw the first one and it went over the plate and someone whacked it really hard. And I threw the second one, it went over the plate and they whacked it. And I went, I can't do that anymore. So I grabbed the ball like this, right? I grabbed the ball like this and I spun it and it went in the air. And for whatever reason, the guy struck in it and he missed. And I had like 7 or 8 strikeouts in slow pitch softball, right? It would come through the air and just die. And everyone kept striking out. And so they were like, wow, you're amazing. And I'm like, I got to be honest with you, I've never done it before, but I figured I couldn't do the bit I was doing to start with. That's a true story, Bill.
Yeah.
I've never pitched.
I was there. I don't
I
believe it.
don't know. I don't know about that.
And that said, I only batted once. I got a triple. I only batted once because Mike Martz had us, our manager had us batting in alphabetical order.
Mm.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, you want Tucci up first.
Paul
why wouldn't
F.
you raise the batting order?
And
Paul F. Jenkins,
over there,
MVP of the
Venezuela, the other one, Ramos. You guys act like you never played before. Yeah, right. But I mean, you should have saw these guys. They like the trick plays and all this stuff, like Harlem Globetrotters of softball. Like, we never played. I don't know what it was. What is this?
We just, me and him both.
He's like rolling the ball over his shoulder and everything, and like throwing the bat around. What are you doing this little thing?
We were like both foreigners, and both of us didn't play.
Johnny Ramita Jr. is like, yeah, those are my ringers, man.
Craziness.
Sorry, buddy.
Craziness.
Good times. The Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Did Stanley present that? Did he give the award?
It was named after him the first year he did. The second year, I think he was at Comic-Con, but he wasn't around for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We lost, so I don't know. Paul, did he give you the award?
He did.
It's great. See,
he did. He brought it into. We were doing a panel of some kind, and he was around or something, and they brought it over to just to laugh about it. You know,
yeah, it was real funny. Real funny.
Sorry, buddy.
No, it was great. It was great times. In all honesty, it was great.
It was. Those were the good days, man. That was when we were happy and we were just all young and like bright-eyed and bushy-tail playing softball, thinking this is the way it would keep going. You know?
Yep. Sorry, Alton.
It's all right. This is fun. I love this stuff, man.
But make sure everyone gets out there and back and share Vampires of New Jersey #7. Yeah. Let's get those backers in.
We got a couple of great campaigns right now. Let's help our friends out. You know.
Yeah. Check out Back Vampires of New Jersey. Head on over to Indiegogo. Hit up Fairy Quest if you didn't catch it on Kickstarter first.
Yeah.
Great,
can you show our video?
Art.
Can you show
play the video? Yeah, why not? Let's see what we got.
Hey everyone, on behalf of Meta Studios, welcome to Fairy Quest. This is book 1, this is book 2, which have been out of print for quite some time. And on this occasion, we're actually coming back with a brand new volume, book 3, which is called Over, Under and Through. This is our first time on Indiegogo, so we're really excited to see how things will go over here. There are plenty of fans who've never seen our book, and we have lots of friends who do Indiegogos right now, and they've been telling us amazing things, so we hope that is true for you as it is for us. We're going to give away a bunch of swag, a load of really cool stretch goals and things like that, and we really want to make this the best experience that we can. So we're going to make sure that we stay in touch with you. We're going to answer any questions that you have. We're going to be introducing new stuff all the time. There will be some Indiegogo exclusives and all kinds of other really cool stuff. And we also want to hear from you. We would love to answer any questions that you have, give you any information that we have, and generally make this a really, really positive experience.
I mean, what else do you want from me? Come on.
Awesome.
Paul, I am totally going to go and back this book after I get off this show. That looks fantastic, man.
It does.
It looks absolutely fantastic. The art looks fantastic. Everything.
Yeah, I think what we were talking about, though, Steph, is that it's not whether or not we've got. So I actually really like the way that it's set up on Indiegogo. I love the way it looks, and I like the way it plays out. Because if once you see that color that Niall's showing you right now, like you see this color and these things, it looks very different from the way it looks on Kickstarter. Because Kickstarter, you have to just kind of line it all down, and it goes in one piece. Whereas here, you can see all the stuff that you're buying on the side.
I love the expressions on the characters. Everything.
Yeah. And it's got a Billy Tucci cover. Look at that.
It's coming.
Where?
Coming up. Boom, boom, boom.
Billy,
Wow.
you never called me, by the way, because I wanted to know what did you think of the way that was colored, right? It was you're muted.
You got unmute.
His lips are moving.
There you go.
And I love the job he did. I just thought it was amazing. I thought I did. I probably didn't respond to the email because I was gonna call you.
Yeah.
And then, and then old Dr. ADD kicked in again, and, there goes Billy.
Squirrel!
Yeah. What a beautiful job they did on that.
Keys were jingling.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and so just so that where we've got to with this campaign, I just feel like it's, you know, what we did was we want to kind of show everyone everything. And we even did our own little kind of like, you know, risks and reward kind of thing at the bottom. And so I love the way it looks on Indiegogo, and it shows the project a little bit clearer because you can see the pages, you can see the content, you can see the color of it and the way that it looks, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think it's just a good lesson for me is that it'll do fine. I mean, it'll get backed, and I'm sure, and people will love it. But it's just an interesting thing for me to see how hard it is. You have to go and get that built in advance. It doesn't matter how good your project is. Mm-hmm. And great, I'm learning from it all the time. Great, then we'll pushing it, and we'll keep pushing it, and hopefully people will find it. And we're going to leave it up there, right? We're going to leave it up there in demand after.
Yeah.
So right, like Billy was saying, that's the great thing about Indiegogo. Even if you didn't promote it before, you can just keep promoting it now, and you got that nice long-term pull in.
Yeah.
And then you can also send it. You can also link to your Kickstarter because the Kickstarter's over. You could link that to the Indiegogo page.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then your updates, you could say, and for those of you who missed it, you can grab it right here on Indiegogo. You can get an Indiegogo as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the thing is, you know, like I hear, like, what's so good about Indiegogo, but there's also one thing that's kind of challenging, which is there are some people on Kickstarter that don't do Indiegogo, and some people on Indiegogo that don't do Kickstarter. Yeah. So, you know, that's something that we're navigating. It's our first time in Indiegogo, so, you know.
Yeah. Excellent. So help spread the word on Fairy Quest, guys. And lastly, it's still in demand. Head on over and check out Fragaboom's Black Flag Pineapple Perception comic.
Give it a look.
Flag is back. Let's play your video too.
Play the video. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I created Black Flag back in 1994. It was pure escapism. I want to draw guys with big guns. I want to draw anime babes, wizards, aliens. Cool, put them all in one book. Now allow me to reintroduce myself. Black Flag is literally wish fulfillment. High energy, high octane, 90s style action, relentless, doesn't ask for forgiveness, high bullet count. There hasn't been that in comics in the same way that I'm going to provide it. Sniper decided that he was going to go back into doing what he does best. He went and he took all of his gear, which had this shield on it with his flag, and he blacked out all the flags. He has no allegiance to anybody but himself. They're never sitting around talking in Black Flag issue 1. Ragtag, they're it. Here to save our world. All of them, mythical, magical. And we are going to see so many bullets, so much action. This thing is certain to blow people's minds. That's basically what Black Flag is all about. Let's go. Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Stella.
Nice.
Oh, fire.
Amazing.
Man. Amazing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Drink to that.
There you go. Yeah.
Should have brought my beer down here.
I know, me too. I should have grabbed a drink. Hey, you know, I got a campaign going too that's ending soon.
Let's see it.
Soon. We're
look out.
Demand.
Sorry, you're a host.
I know.
We'll show it next week.
Everyone tells me I never promote my stuff.
Yeah,
Thanks, Scott. And we got Miss Fury too. That just broke 93,000.
Nice.
So we came back from the purge we had.
Amazing.
Nice.
That was crazy. This book is, we got a great creative team.
I'm excited. I can't wait to get mine.
No, thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. It's great. But Maria Laura's pages, man, on Miss Fury, she has Marla Drake in Paris, and they're showing all the women collaborators who slept with the Germans and stuff, and they're all captured by the partisans, getting their heads shaved and stuff. It's crazy.
Billy,
and she can draw beautiful women and then brutality in the next page. It's amazing.
You have to do a making of Miss Fury book. that shows the concept art and the creative stuff that went into that, because it's like a movie. So,
It is.
I mean, the details that you could provide in a book, an art book, a notes book where you put thoughts and how it all went together and stuff, that would just be fascinating read on its own. How it was created.
You know, I would love to do that because it's really is, and you know, because this book is a love letter to June Tarpey Mills,
exactly,
Miss Fury's creator. And we're even using a lot of the same dialogue that we're aping some of her lines with all the old characters that are coming in, and it's I'm so proud of it. I think we've been getting some great reviews for She Return of the Warrior, which I'm pumped about, but that Miss Fury might be the best thing I've ever written.
You know, and
the joy of it,
like even the costuming, all the information that you could give us about the costuming, all the stories you could tell us about, those fashion designs and stuff like that. That's all absolutely fascinating stuff.
It's amazing.
So you got a level where people can Skype with you?
I don't know. Do that?
Yep.
Skype package.
There is a Skype package.
I had no idea.
You can
Like, what?
Yeah, it's not my campaign. I don't know.
It says they'll make
Should they get the books and get the? I don't know who'd want to do that.
Crazy times in this world.
You can see how many they sold because I'm always on with Niall Scala.
Exactly. 24-hour channel. Pop XP.
The Pop
We put
XP.
the Pop
XP 24.
The
Pop XP has been getting busy. It's getting BUSYE, huh, Scala?
It's getting crazy, man. Crazy.
You got a lot of stuff coming out, man.
I see a lot of shows.
Everybody wants to be on, man. Everyone wants to come on, which is flattering. We love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's one of the best shows on YouTube, man. Come on.
You're very kind.
It's got a nice feel to it. No,
and Dan,
it's got a nice feel to it. I always enjoy watching it.
Well, thank you. And Dan, we know how popular your show is and everything like that. And we appreciate every time you guys come on. When you come on, join us and stuff. And I know if it takes away from your own.
You guys are good folks, man. Good people. I mean, Couch Doodles is dead, though. YouTube killed that channel.
That's horrible.
Is it a new one called Couch Doodles?
The new one's called Frigaboom.
Frigaboom.
Yeah, the old one was Couch Doodles, and it got false flagged for explicit sexual content is what they said, but there was no explicit sexual
Did you
content.
appeal it?
I did, and it took them a month and 18 days to write me back to tell me that they're looking into it.
Oh God.
So there's still a chance they may reinstate your channel?
Say the question again.
So is there a chance they may reinstate the channel?
Yeah, there's a chance, but at this point, it's like, what? Then I'll have two. And the Frigaboom one, I looked at, like, I'm a silver lining kind of guy, where I go, well, shit, there went all my content, and there went 4,500 subscribers, and oh shit, and then I thought, well, I was going to clean up all those thumbnails. I was going to tidy up my titles. Now I could start over again.
Yep.
So now all my thumbnails are uniform. I try to make everything.
Do you still have a lot of those little...
What, Billy?
What?
Say that again.
Looks like you froze.
Well,
it does look like you froze.
He asked a question.
Well, what you're doing is you're now reposting all those videos though, because you still had them. So now you're putting them out.
I don't have them.
You don't have them?
I was very fortunate that some of the subscribers
I'm cutting out.
had ripped some.
Hang on.
And they sent me a bunch.
Yeah.
So there were some really great subs that came in and sent me some of the stuff they had downloaded, but it was maybe 5% of what I had. And there were a couple things, like, thank God I had the old 93 Extreme Studios video. But what was nuts is the old one had 30,000 views, so like
it's horrible.
Anyhow, what I found to be very encouraging is, even though right now we're at, 2,500 subs, the audience that shows up for live streams is still the same as it was when we were at almost 5,000. So the core is still showing up.
Yeah.
Good.
And on average, it's, good nights, it's up in the 300s. On slow ones, it's in the mid 100 to 200s. But we have fun. We have a good time. You know, and you know, I like going on other people's shows, and it's for one of the reasons I like it is one of the things that Steph had mentioned, the birthday man. He, you know, I would go on shows that they have 100 subs, but that's 100 people that don't know who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've been on shows that have had 250,000 subs, and it's about letting people know, you know, talking about what Paul is saying about self-promotion. It's part of the gig for me, you know, like I want people to know about me. I want them to know about my book. I want them to give me a fair shake to check it out. I, of course, bait them in my campaign. I give you the very first incarnation, all 5 issues of the book for free in PDF form.
Nice.
I give you another series I did called The Gear Station, all 5 issues free in PDF form, because you know, there's a saying in music now that if you're not willing to give it away for free, you're not going to succeed.
Yeah.
Because the you know, the money's made in touring and in merch, and basically what we're doing is like we got to go out there and get people to get on board, and once they're on board, they'll follow you. You know, but you know, you have to be sort of present. And using Paul's analogy about the gorgeous painting in the forest, sometimes you need that wooden sign with the arrow pointing to it. And you know, your PT Barnum going, see the most beautiful sign and the most beautiful painting, follow the purple signs, you know, and then have shirts along the way that say follow the purple sign. Do you follow purple signs? And suddenly following purple signs is the way, but you're getting them to the painting.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's a business, man.
Ass titty.
Yeah, you know, like
That's what I live by.
Chuck Bonneau's coming out with Belial in October,
Yeah.
and for some reason they just got on this thing. They keep taking these real iconic Renaissance type religious images, and they're making memes with them. So it's creating a branding. Like every time you see one of these old, like Renaissance type pictures as a meme, you know they're talking about Belial, and it's like that's their consistent message all the way through. You know, is like you said, those purple signs. Like every time you see one of those memes, you're thinking Belial. You're thinking Belial.
Connective iconography.
Yeah, you know when it's going to drop because you're so used to the messaging.
Hey Niall, I forgot. I'm supposed to remind you, by the way. Have you hooked up our trailer for War?
Oh, we did. But before we air that, I think, you know, we do have a secret weapon. And Billy, I think it's time you start using this. And I think, you know,
wait. He's keeping his pants on, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we want to keep the
Probably.
channel alive.
Secret weapon.
Secret weapon. And I think, you know, we start need to give the blessings, man. We gotta give the blessings of the duck stick to all these great creators and wish them luck with their campaigns.
The legendary duck stick.
And the duck stick.
There it is.
Now the duck stick cannot be a blessing of the duck stick.
I expect incense.
The peck of the duck stick. And Alton, the peck of the duck stick to you and on your journey. And Paul Jenkins. The blessing of the duck stick on your journey.
Thank you. I'm blessed. I feel honored.
Don't switch the vowels. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. You frag-a-boom. Frag-a-boom. 2 times.
I can feel it.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
No, don't eat it.
Yeah. I just love the duck stick. Now,
you just called me a duck stick.
Oh, no, campaign just disappeared.
And you can follow the duck stick on Twitter at the duck stick.
Oh, it's on Twitter. I'm writing that down.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm doing it right now.
And you can also follow me too at Billy Tucci. But one thing I was bringing up, Dan, when I remember I cut out after we saw when we were talking about your campaign, is that you love 90s comics, man. That 90s comic vibe of how much fun we were all like young little kids We were having so much fun. We're just doing
Energy.
like outlaws, rock and roll, working in mainstream comics.
Yeah.
And look at Keanu Reeves and Ron Garney's new Kickstarter that just launched today, over $350,000 or whatever. That book is all 90s comics.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
His videos, I just want to have fun. I want to have great color, great drawing, explosion. This guy's immortal, blah blah. And I'm like, that is a '90s comic. I'm gonna say Lee Ducks.
Duckworth.
Gets it right, Lee?
I gotta tell you, I spent hours trying to get a hold of Keanu Reeves. I'm like,
Really?
yeah, I want to get him on the show.
Yeah.
Well, let's get Ron Garney on the show.
Yeah, get Ron.
I did a run on the Hulk with Ron Garney. He's a good dude.
Oh, perfect. Then you want to be on the show with us when we get Ron on?
Yeah, we'll do it. We should go through, man. We created the craziest thing for the Hulk. We turned him into like a guy with multiple personality disorder and just blew his face up. So we gave him Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
And let's check out that trailer.
You like Paul Dickens? You're gonna love this.
This is great. This is great. Let's check this out. Here it is. The official. Well, do the introduction, Paul.
All right. So basically, I've been working on this Star Trek thing that's been a bit messed up. But one day we decided, why don't we go and make the worst vessel in Starfleet? So it's called the USS Croydon, and it's run by a captain who's from South London. And the idea is, on the uncharted edges of the galaxy, they've got a crew from Star Trek, but none of them are trained and none of them give a toss because they're so far away that they just don't care anymore, right? And so it's all falling apart. And this is literally the worst crew in Starfleet on the edge of the galaxy. So here's our little teaser trailer, and we're going to come out with about one of these a month. It's silent. You got to turn the volume up. What's our mission? We're exploring the far reaches of space. Going to new places, new worlds, new civilizations. To like boldly come where no one's ever come before. They said, you're on a 5-year mission to go seek out new worlds and new civilizations, and they put us out there as the tip of the spear. Really, you know something? Just the tip.
You can
Yeah, so we're doing, it's called Warped, and we're doing one of them a month. And basically, it's this stupid captain from South London, and the ship is called the USS Croydon. And the best part of it is, Star Trek fans are already annoyed because we made the call sign. You know, it's supposed to be NCC 1701, or, you know, they've got this very specific thing. NCC 1753 is the USS Tomahawk or whatever. And our one says CPFC 1905, which is Crystal Palace Football Club, founded in 1905. We've got a whole one that we're going to do where they're all playing football on the deck and they're heading the ball around and there's like the balls bouncing off of everything. So I think the Star Trek fans are likely to be a little bit funky with us, but I think they'll get it. You know, it's a joke.
Well done.
Nice, man. It looks great. Looks
Yeah,
freaking
it'll be
awesome.
fun.
CGI is mint. Well, man, I mean, everyone's great. Thanks. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you get a chance, remember, you know, head on out and please back and share Vampires of New Jersey. Just launched. You're at 17 backers now.
Nice.
And it's only, you know, got about your first hour and a half into this campaign. So get out there and help out. Head on over, check out Fairy Quest on Indiegogo and Black Flag on Indiegogo, as well as She Return of the Warrior, which if you've already got your PDF of that, you probably have read already and realize how amazing it is. Right. And I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. It actually It's actually pretty good, Billy. I'm surprised. It was
Less
a shocker.
disappointed than
It was
you thought it'd
actually
be.
pretty good.
Dude, remember,
It was-
she's a 3-time Eisner loser.
Steph, thanks for popping in and
Yeah.
joining us. It's a pleasure. Dan, thanks for coming in as always. Paul, you guys, it's great having you guys on the show. And Al, man, anytime you want to come on, please, man, join us. It's
Yeah.
always good talking with you and chatting, man. It's always a great time.
Yeah,
Gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful night. We have one more show this week lined up, unless we decide to be a little spontaneous this Friday, which may happen. Who knows? But tomorrow night, we've got the Creator Power Hour or 2 with special guests Clint Stoker and Adam Lawson. We're going to be talking about their crowdfunding books, Fatal, that Clint Stoker has out right now. And then we're going to be getting into a bit of a treat with Adam Lawson. I'll let him get into that with his new horror novel, which is not out yet, but he's starting to promote it and tease it out there. And as you can see, the character designs are pretty freaking awesome.
Pretty cool.
So if you guys are around, check that out tomorrow night at 9 p.m. All right, everyone. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on the show.
Happy birthday, Steph.
Happy birthday.
Alton, great luck. Paul, great luck. Dan, you just keep rocking and roll like a steamroller, Holmes.
I
Kicking
will.
ass, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Proud of you guys.
Have a great night. Everything looks amazing, and you guys are going to kick ass.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night,
See ya.
Frank.
Good night.
Right.
Good night, Al.
Thanks, guys.
Hey
everyone. Thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you soon.